You wanted him, we got him. You requested this guest the most. Welcome, James. James, welcome to the podcast. So, an ATAT walker that is fully mobilised, a full-size transformer, a PC that can cook pasta dishes. Are you just a massive kid living the dream?
Yeah, I think so. So I spent a long time in the corporate world working in IT, and then I spent a long time trying not to do that.
Okay.
And now I'm there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
What was
ideal job?
What was the driver? What made you want to do that? Have you always been sort of crafty? Have you always been mechanical? You mentioned IT, obviously, so you've got a technical side. What was the backstory?
How much time have you got? Tell you the whole story.
An hour. Let's go.
Right. So, I mean, yeah. So I've always been making things since I was a child, which is a long time ago. So there's pictures of me with a robot made of, egg boxes, bits of Meccano wood, and the mouth was chattering, those wind-up chattering teeth, that sort of thing. And then, so I did electronic engineering at degree level at University of Birmingham, but that was in the 90s, and they didn't even teach us microcontrollers.
Right.
So it's a long time before Arduino and Raspberry Pis and all that stuff came along. In 2004, I decided to get back into that stuff, having worked in IT for a bit. And I basically wanted to build a humanoid walking robot.
As most people.
Yeah, and I tried to find some website that would show you how to do this easily.
Yeah.
And of course there wasn't one, so I thought I'll just make that website. Yeah. And that's when xrobots.co.uk got registered about 2004. But that was long before, YouTube wasn't really there. Well, it wasn't there at all, actually. And you couldn't get cheap stuff from China on eBay and AliExpress and all these things. So it was all like wood from B&Q and bits of metal tube and windscreen wiper motors and things like that.
You still the IT gig on the side to fund all this then?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so it's all just, I wasn't making any money from it. I had AdSense ads on my blog, but they didn't make much money. And I thought at the time, how can I have an output to make money from this thing and someone pay me to just make these robots?
Living the dream.
Anyway, I didn't actually achieve making a walking robot. I did about something like 9 different ones for a number of years. And then I had my main IT job I had was working for Aon Corporation, the biggest insurance company in the world. And I did that from 2004 to about 15. And in that time, so 3D printing came along. The RepRap project came out of Bath University, 2003. So I remember reading that blog early on about them making the first parent and child machine. So Raspberry Pis and Arduinos and all that stuff came along, 3D printing, and then obviously YouTube came along. So I started doing projects, putting them on YouTube.
Perfect storm of technology sort of come together.
And then I left that job because I got recruited by a toy company to go and do prototyping based on what they saw in my YouTube channel. That was Blades Toys in Portsmouth, who were 28% owned by Peter Jones from Dragon's Den.
Oh, okay.
So good media angle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I eventually dropped some days a week till I was 2 days a week, and the rest was YouTube. And now I'm full-time for 6 years. So
fantastic. You said you always make stuff when you were a kid, so little puppets and that kind of thing. We spoke to Mendip Mark, and his initial inspiration was they took the back off a television and he saw the city inside and he was fascinated by it. Our engineers, who are huge fans of yours, that's why we've got you on the show, they've all got their own stories. For Jason, it was taking apart his toys. For Tom, it was a VCR that he took apart. Was there a moment that you remember where it's like the fascination started? There was a single...
Not really, but I just remember there not being any information about how to do stuff. There was the local library. I lived in, well, it was a village with 3 schools in, but it's a relatively small village, and there obviously is a village library, but they never really got any new books about anything. There was a book about building a robot arm to interface to a Commodore 64 or something. Right. It was like make your own breadboard by getting a piece of wood and sawing it and get all these components and then cut out balsa wood. But I got the book out loads of times and never managed to find the parts even to buy, or how do you do it, So where do you get the motors, they say, there was no internet, basically. So.
Well, it sounds like a curious mind. You've always had a fast how do things work, essentially that. Let's talk about some of the early builds then. So when you first started off putting things on YouTube, what was it? Just projects that you found interesting? Was it, I suppose it's too early to find a hole in the market and that kind of stuff.
So this movie came out in 2008 called Iron Man.
Yes, yeah.
That's when that's where I got most of my subscribers, was from building an Iron Man suit. So that was a 4-year project
Wow.
that I did from about 2010 to about 2014.
Where do you even start with
50 videos.
Yeah.
Exactly. Where do you start?
Yeah, well, where did you start?
So I started. So there's this thing called Peppercura, which is basically if you get a book, with a flat paper stuff, and you fold it all up and make a thing. So people have made templates that you can do that with. So they'd either rip game models and then refine them, made Peppercura templates with a software called Peppercura Designer that unfolds 3D models so they're flat. So then what you're supposed to do is print them out on cardstock, reassemble it and glue it, fiberglass all over it, spend a very long time sanding it down. Right. And then that's how people made it before 3D printing, pretty much, or any downloadable 3D prints. But I made one out of foam, which is much easier because it's got a thickness, so you don't need to do like the little indents. You can just use foam that's thickness with the back on it. Yeah. So I did a foam suit, and then I wanted a rigid suit. So I propped it all up with cardboard inside and made silicon molds from the foam, and then made a fiberglass and polyurethane suit. And at the end of that, I got my first 3D printer, which was about 2012 or 13, and made little catches to fit it on, but that was about it.
I'm going to guess the foam version was softer than the on the skin.
So I ended up with this whole rigid Iron Man suit, but I'd done 40 videos over 4 years by that time.
You talked about, you wanted to do electronic engineering. It was a college university.
University, electronic and electrical engineering.
So we've had this conversation quite a bit. I mean, it sounds like that didn't really, you had an interest in it then, but didn't go on to do it. Obviously, they didn't teach FPGA, Raspberry Pis weren't around. Do you think there's more for kids now to get into engineering? Is it easier stepping stone, or is there more hurdles?
Sure. I mean, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there were electronics kits. So when I was a kid, I had one of those ones with the spring terminals.
Make your own radio.
Like a Radio Shack, like a candy one.
Yeah.
But then it's sort of like, wire all these things up and here's this thing that works. And they had the explanation, it's all analog electronics, about the voltage rises over this capacitor and then this thing happens. But I didn't really find it good for learning.
No.
If there'd been one for digital electronics with logic chips, that would be much easier.
Yeah.
But then when I left university, it was 1997. So the internet only went public in about 94. So my first job was an IT company in Tamworth in Staffordshire. IT services company, but they didn't have a website or external email or internet access in the building.
Most people didn't know.
And no one thought that was unusual.
No, not for an IT.
So the kind of computer side interested me far more at the time than doing electronic circuits.
Yeah. Okay. We've got a few guys in the office who've thought about setting up their own channel. They do electronics all the time. If you were going to give someone some advice on where to start off, what would, you've got a successful YouTube channel, you've been doing it for a while, what would your advice be? I'm sure there'll be people watching this who have got the same idea, I want to start off, what would you say?
Make content. So I know a number of people who do say this to me, and some of them who have YouTube channels, and then they haven't put a video out for ages because they're too busy. So yeah, like the content, do content and learn to edit and learn to film and light things, make quality content about something. And if it doesn't have a lot of views, it doesn't matter, but you need to do something and then learn from it as you go.
Okay.
So I did weekly videos for 8 years from 2014 about something, even if it was a can of paint I bought that I thought was a really good finish.
Right.
Just something.
Reviewing see what's done.
Learn. Just do something. Make content. Because if you don't, it's the same as any career, you have to invest a lot in it to get something back. If you start your degree and say, where's my £50,000 a year job after the first year? I'll give this up. Then you'll have given up and you won't get there. It's the same thing. Don't give up because then you'll have given up.
And you only learn by making mistakes. No one's ever successful just on the first go that you try. Yeah.
But now when I started, it was all like my camera I had was a mini DV camcorder with a 4x3, with a little DV tape, and then a PCM CIA Firewire card in my laptop, and you had to play the content back to stream it off, and then editing it in Microsoft Windows Editor or whatever.
Well,
now everyone's got a phone.
Yeah, of course.
And there's free DaVinci Resolve standard version's free with loads of good stuff in. Anyone can edit.
Yeah.
You can get lights on Amazon, 30 quid a pair.
Film on your phone, camera quality, audio is all very good.
Exactly.
Possible.
So it's much easier to produce something that's much better quality. Looking back on the old videos, and even if I look at Colin Furze's channel, on the old videos I thought were really good at the time.
Yeah.
It's what's this grainy content, Even the ones he did of hydroforming that we thought were quite recent, you look back on it, it's like, oh, it's
It's
awful.
awful. Yeah.
Now it's easy to make quality content.
So what I wanted to ask was content. Yes, great. People learn, they make mistakes. What's been your longest, costly, biggest mistake today?
Oh, I don't think so. People ask me about how I've learned from mistakes, but I don't really have many massive failures.
Okay.
I think maybe, well, because they always pay back anyway from the YouTube content. So I guess Open Dog 1, that was all ball screws and it was really rigid and not back drivable and it was too heavy to lift. That went on for quite a long time and it did kind of walk, but it wasn't anything like the next one. But then I learned a lot from that, doing inverse kinematics and the interpolations, make all the joints, just the engineering side. Saying that, I now have that experience. So I'm actually doing a walking machine I can ride on at the moment, which is again ball screws and it's not back drivable, but it's statically stable. So I think that was the biggest thing I put money into that didn't work in the end, but also it did pay back from the ad revenue and the ads that were in it and the 11 episodes, whatever I did.
I think it was Mendip Mark who said he was it was the repair video that went wrong that actually sort of lifted it up. So he was running around he needed to put some content out, just like you was like, oh, I need something out. And he was like, oh, I'll try and fix this thing, rumbled through. And the end of the conclusion was, well, I can't fix that. Bit disappointed, stuck it online, came the next day, and all of a sudden his subscriber just exploded. Do you know now what resonates with people? And does that come into factors when you make videos, or are you still...
I don't know.
Okay.
So the ball bike had 9 million views, had 1 million views in a day, I think. It was the biggest uptake of views I've ever had. And almost didn't do that project because I thought 2 balls as wheels, do they just look like wheels because they're round? Will people click on that? The balls were £300 each.
Right.
And the motors were like £350 each, and there's 5 of them. So that's a lot of money to sink in. The chute as well, because it's Omni wheels running on the balls, so it has to be in a clean, flat environment somewhere. To hire a big sports hall to even do a turn in it with a camera op. That chute costs £1,000 with hiring the whole of this huge place as well and going to Northampton to do it. And it did really well, but I just didn't have any idea at all. So I don't know.
Yeah, you still don't know. Do you think it's a case then of trusting your gut and being sort of authentically you, that's why?
Yeah, so my strategy now, because some of those did really well, then I did another Omni bike that did not so well. So I've done 4 Omni bikes that all did 3 to 9 million views. Fifth one, 150k. Don't know why. They're all distinctly different. I'm going to do a 1 ball vehicle, but don't know if that'll do well. So my plan now is to break down the projects into smaller chunks purely so I can put ads in them all and then at least cover the costs. Because I don't know.
Yeah. Community is important. We were having a chat about this when we went to go for coffee before. Tell me what's involved in that. So you've done collaborations with Connell Furs and you've done the Christmas gift last year. How important is that community and how do you make those connections?
It's interesting. So I did the biggest people I've collaborated with are Colin several times. We did some promos for eBay a while ago for building the Hulkbuster and when he built the TIE Fighter and I built BB9E.
I saw the TIE Fighter and the 9E.
That was officially licensed by Disney to eBay. Everything had to be bought from eBay.
I heard Disney are quite protective over their IP.
Yeah, we had, so the shoot was like 40 people on site with Disney licensing and CEO of eBay UK and a catering truck and a medic with an ambulance.
Did you get a lightsaber out of it?
No.
Well.
Then we did the other one for Hulkbuster where I did all the cosmetic design and the control, and also did the Amazon Alexa flamethrower he did and the bed shaker. And then when I did my Rhino tank, I went up and used his place to go and test
do
that.
it. Yeah.
So done quite a lot. And I did Mark Rober's bowling ball as well.
Right.
So the auto strike bowling ball you can throw, and then he had an IME on his back, and you can lead and it steers.
Nice.
So that was nice. So he contacted me for that.
Yeah.
That had 50 million views in his channel. He came to my house and said, "Go and subscribe to James's channel." 80,000 people came over from Mark's channel.
Perfect.
But so the way to get views on YouTube is good click through and good retention.
Yeah.
But having those 80,000 subscribers, expecting Mark Rober, probably didn't click on my videos because I was doing like ROS robots and things at the time, fairly in-depth technical stuff.
Yeah.
So it may have had a detrimental impact. I don't know.
Right. Do you read the comments?
I'd still do another collaboration with him.
Yes.
Because it was good.
It was good fun.
But so I don't know whether people just don't, drives click-through down. So it's very difficult.
Yeah, so you want that longevity of the video basically to get through. But yeah, I mean, was there any negativity in terms of comments or anything?
No, it's just I don't know if that
was the
actually
reason
benefits me in the long term.
Yeah, okay, Yeah, I suppose if you want to find your audience and grow your audience, and if I mean we don't have this podcast to sort of have a huge audience, more of a value thing to give back to customers, but the people that we interview, so we interview you, well, we're interviewing you right now. Obviously, you're here. We interviewed a few YouTubers in the electronic space. We also talked to the business leaders. I'm very wary of trying to spread ourselves too thin, I suppose, because someone who's watching this now because you're here would not be interested, for example, in Roy Newey or Brad Sugars, who's a business coach who we interviewed recently. And we're trying to add value and just talk to interesting people, but it's not really thematically. But I suppose if you're doing it as a career, you have to think about audience and sponsorship and revenue, all that kind of stuff, right? That's got to be a
absolutely,
a balance.
I think that the money has to come from somewhere. So.
Yeah.
So I've done 2 sponsor videos recently, which were dedicated videos. Views haven't been very good.
Right.
It's 2 in a row, and then I had one of my own videos, and before that was another one which was for Lego.
Yeah.
But a lot of dedicated sponsor videos, or with ad in the thumbnail, because you have to put ad on it.
Yeah.
So views haven't been great. The money's been really good.
Do you think
that's had to outweigh it?
Yeah. Well, no, because you do have to get paid. At the end of the day, it's your job, and it's a passion. You want to carry on doing it. Do you think that maybe if people see it's an ad, I'm not saying that you're selling out, I don't think that the slightest, but maybe an audience would go, oh, I'm going to have an ad pushed down my throat, maybe? I don't know what
Yeah, I mean, the whole video is an ad ultimately for that brand. So
they could see it that way.
I don't, well, they have to be told it is because that's the law. Well, you have to sort of open and say this is an ad for Lego. And they have to know it's an ad before they engage with the content. So you have to,
make
straight away. So that's going to have an impact. People want to skip ads.
Of course they do, yeah.
I mean, so that building Iron Man out of Lego was quite an epic build.
Yeah.
Still didn't do as well as I thought it would.
No, I wasn't.
Even for sponsoring. Because Lego is a massive piece of pop culture. They make 100 million bricks a day, I think.
Yeah.
So 1 billion every 10 days. Like multi-generational pop culture. Everyone knows Lego.
I love Lego. Where are they based again? What's the headquarters?
Denmark.
Denmark, that's it. I didn't know this. So Denmark is the biggest producers of tyres in the world because of Lego.
Tyres.
Tyres.
Sorry. Tyres. Right. Sorry. Yeah.
The accent.
Say,
tyres. Lego tyres. That's what they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're doing great sponsored content at the minute. You've got the freedom to sort of look at whatever projects you want. What's ideal? What do you want to do going forward? What sort of builds are on the horizon, and where do you want to take the channel?
It's difficult. Ones that do well on YouTube. So the 1 ball bike is what I'm working on. Just started the design for that. Yeah. So like the 2 ball bike, but 1. So instead of just balancing sideways, it balances in all directions.
How's your core strength? Are you going to be?
Well, it should be okay because I'll be sort of
like that
over a ball. Leaning, I don't know. I'm going to definitely have controls that help it lean and so on. And I think turning, I can drive straight and lean, so it kind of banks, hopefully. Yeah. But I might have fans to blow it round because it's really difficult to turn on the spot. Even if you can turn the ball, there's almost an infinitely small contact area with the ground. Yeah. So normally what happens is the ball will just spin and you'll be really difficult. So there's some challenges there. I'm hoping that'll do well. I don't know. But the walking machine I'm building now, which video goes out in a few days, hopefully, which is a big quadruped I can ride on. Yeah. So that's an ongoing series, which I took out to Formnext in Germany. Some of the videos from out there.
Excellent.
The handstand cheat device, that's on the cards, which I've been talking about for ages, which is basically high-powered fans on my ankles that blow me upright.
Brilliant.
And then some other sort of hedging my bets with shorter, one video for the build, but shorter things. So elastic band-powered roller skates or skateboard. So another channel called Joel Creates tried to do an elastic band-powered car in the US. That failed miserably. The rest of his content's really good, but that was terrible.
What was the sticking point? Why did the car fail miserably?
He used a really heavy metal sort of frame, beach buggy thing that he borrowed, and then he had a sort of cage that was the drive, and he tried to wrap the elastic band around that way, but obviously it wasn't very long, so it did push him about a couple of meters, and it stopped. If you think about an elastic band powered plane, the elastic band's long and it's stretched.
Of course it is. You've got a lot more coil.
Yeah, so the plan is basically to have a very long stick with a very long elastic band, some sort of 90-degree bevel gear on the bottom, and then probably make some sort of stick that's like an outboard for a skateboard, and or make a very, very light frame carbon fibre little buggy. Yeah. So the mass makes a massive difference.
I can see the joy when you're talking about it. You've got a smile on your face,
Yeah.
you're animated. It really excites you, these projects, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And hopefully the elastic band powered, car, whatever, skateboard is something people will click on.
Yeah.
Hopefully, with a big red arrow pointing at the stick. As long as I can envisage what the title is that I would click on,
Yeah.
and what the thumbnail looks like, because some things are very hard to convey in one picture.
Yeah.
And one bit of text.
Yeah. We've just got to the point where we started to A/B test a couple of images, and it's really interesting what resonates with people. And because sometimes I'll put something together and think they're going to click on that, and then it's the other one that pops up.
Well, so the A/B testing doesn't measure click through; it measures retention. So it measures
retention,
how much of that video someone watches. So it may be massively less click through, but the people watching it are more invested because it's a technical subject. But that isn't. But it's actually click through you need first. It's to get reach. Of course, it's very difficult.
That makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you put, I don't know, you've got a video to talk about how to fix a printed circuit board, and you go, this circuit board explodes. People probably click through because I want to see the exploding circuit board, but it's misleading. They'll click off and they realise it. So it's the retention that's going to.
There is that as well, yeah. You can't make it too clickbaity, and that's why they don't tell you what the click through is. Mm-hmm. They tell you the retention of it. Means you're getting quality
over quantity, or over the attraction. Definitely. So when you started off, you said you were doing this. You started a job. You did this part time. So it was very much your baby. You did the editing, you did the filming, you did the scripting, voiceover. I know you said the voiceover now. Is that different now that you're more established? Do you hand stuff over? Is that difficult to let go? What's the process?
No, I still do all of it.
Okay.
So I have an agent who lines up the ad spots and deals with the contracts with brands, which is a company called Ziggurat XYZ, who have a lot of other YouTubers on their books. And apart from that, I do everything. And there's someone in the video that I collaborate with.
Yeah.
So the World of Warcraft promo I did, my friend Billy came down to help do the fabric work and everything, and obviously she was in the video. Otherwise, it's all me. There's no one else there.
Did you have a conversation with your agent? Obviously, you have morals. We all have personal morals and values and stuff. Did you sit down and say, look, these are the projects that I'd want to work on? Or do they just literally throw stuff over to you? How does that relationship work?
They mainly line up the ad spot where the content creator does a 60 seconds. I've got an ongoing deal with PCB Way, or you get, obviously HelloFresh and all those World of Warcraft. What's the Raid Shadow Legends? That comes up a lot. NordVPN comes up a lot with creators.
Surfshark.
Yeah, Colin does a lot of those. So they find those, and that they have that little segment, and that's it. So as long as it's something I can't see, we do check their moral businesses.
But don't get sponsored
those
by
all go around, exactly. But then the big dedicated ones, like Arduino, obviously they come with a thing and say, can you do a vehicle that uses this technology product we're launching? And then we're pretty much stuck with what they want to do. But yeah.
Have you got a dream brand that you'd or an organisation that you'd love to work with? That's not come knocking yet. I know you've worked.
I just said Lego, but I've already done Lego. I've already done basically the Disney ones through eBay. Paramount, that's Transformers. Yeah. So there's a lot of big brands in there already. It's been great. So can't really complain.
You've worked with a lot of different collaborators. Colin Firth, we mentioned. He's got a huge underground bunker, bit of a mad one. Out of all these collaborations of the YouTubers, have you ever come across a channel, seen a video, and thought, "Damn, I'd wish I'd thought of that idea"?
I can't specifically think of one.
Okay.
So Colin's very special though, because he can do almost anything. He used to do weekly videos every Thursday, and some of them, if I'd done that build, they wouldn't have done 1 million views. But Colin's very special for some reason. His personality, I think, might be the answer.
You've got a great personality.
And he's just, he did a video about before YouTube. He just made videos anyway for fun, with crazy things where he just had this. He was had a not-profit company to do with a skate park, and he got loads of kids involved in skating, and then they did an event where it was something like they made everyone drink loads of milk until they were sick, and just he just tried to parachute on a bike, and then he got sucked up into a field and stuff. And he just these things just because he's crazy.
I think it is his enthusiasm. He's cheesy as anything, but he's so enthusiastic and so passionate and so eager and keen. It's just infectious, I think, isn't it? As well,
and just having the crazy ideas.
Yeah, what comes from that brain.
Yeah. And just doing it as well. So I was with him at Maker Central when he's saying, I'm going to dig this bunker. We'd done the bunker in the back garden, then he's like, I'm going to dig the tunnel. And Tom Lamb was there, Tom Lamb, the farmer. And he's like, right, what's the density of the the rocks, how much when we dig it out is it going to be, and how are we going to get rid of it? And they were starting to plan it. Just like, is he really going to do this tunnel under his house? Just tunnel under the house, really?
His wife must be very, very understanding. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I said before, our engineers are big fans of your channel. You were highly requested when we were asking who should we go out and interview. So they have a question for you, and it was Ignys were electronic engineers, and we pride ourselves in coming up with creative solutions to bring people's ideas to life. So if you've got an idea for an electronic device, then we can do it from start to finish. That's not an ad, that's just what we do. If you had a very large, maybe infinite budget, and you had an idea for an electronic device and you wanted to work with us, what would you aim for? Anything's possible.
It's difficult. I'd like to build bipedal robots again. And I'm going to try and do some simpler ones.
Okay.
But I guess something like that.
Yeah.
The whole training with AI, I don't understand at all.
Right. Yeah. Do you use it much?
I have done some projects with AI triggered Wolverine claws.
Wicked.
That recognised facial recognition. So I trained it on my face like this, and my face like this. Like Wolverine's face. And I had spring-loaded Wolverine claws and a little camera on a stick. So when you went Wolverine's face, they ejected.
Yeah.
So that was AI because I trained a model basically on the Jetson.
Okay.
All their off-the-shelf stuff.
You could do that with an enemy, surely. So if you had an enemy, saying that you do, but if when they came towards you, their facial expression changed, your claws just pop out.
Yeah, that's another way of doing it. Yeah, sure. But then that was a long time before large language models, so that was quite specific AI. So yeah, I don't know. Obviously, AI generated art and things, a bit controversial.
It's controversial. Have you seen a lot of it on sort of, I mean, you're a YouTuber, you obviously watch other people's channels and whatnot. Have you noticed a rise in other people's?
I think a lot of thumbnails are sometimes in some channels, and a lot of the channels that tell stories about interesting anecdotes and maybe have a bit of animation of the character or whatever. That's probably AI generated.
Yeah.
But I think AI should be doing the mundane tasks. So that we can do the art. Why are we doing it the other way around?
The other way around,
I was going to do a sort of AI-driven making robots clean toilets or something,
Yeah, I've got a subscription. I won't say who the company is, but it's quite a small organisation. I think that they've got a really good product, and I'm a big fan of them. However, I think because of budget and whatnot, a lot of the promotional content they put out is AI generated. Everything from visuals to photography to even music, and you can tell. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit off-putting. Because you sort of, if someone comes across, I'm not saying that's genuine, they are genuine people. I've met them a couple of times, but with the relying so heavily on that, it sort of takes away a bit of authenticity, doesn't it? Sort of a little bit of a.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheaper than paying an artist.
Yeah, well, so absolutely, and that's why people do it. I totally get it, but you lean on it too heavily.
So I think you could use it for inspiration. So the Nor passed the PC. They really wanted lots of pipes in it that looked like the computer and everything was linked together, and you can just buy pipes and pipe joins and things. But I wanted to look like it was cooking food, so I did actually have ChatGPT make a visual, and it was a bit like it drew this sort of like a comic picture of past some sort of food making crazy chemistry thing that I put. That was the prompt, and then but there were specific aspects in there that looked like what I wanted. And I was like, right, can you tell me what these components are? And it's like, one is a reactor vessel and one is a sight glass.
Right.
So then I was like, oh, that's the sort of look I want. Just from one thing. There were like hundreds of pipes in this image it made, but there's this one thing. I was like, that's what I want. So I went on Amazon, like chemistry sight glass, and you can just buy this thing, which ended up in there. Yeah. So it wasn't like AI made it or designed it even. It was just that it inspired me. It just gave me the knowledge to get that specific component that's now in there that is like the main feature of the pipes.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's sort of doing a lot of the heavy lifting. We transcribe this episode, we'll transcribe another episode, and we'll use AI to do that because, it's just a lot quicker. It's actually ruining Mark's life at the minute. So his wife went to a cricket club AGM and spend the entire evening writing up notes because she doesn't trust AI. And it's like, well, just Claire, just use AI to write up your notes. It's I think it's brilliant as a tool, but if you start to use it as the main form, it definitely takes something away, I think. Well, you say about using it as a tool. We interviewed Henry Colafiers, who runs Boss's Gaming Studios. My question to him was,
Wow.
could AI write a Last of Us, or I know you're not a huge gamer, but like a big complex
Sure.
game with a story? And he's like, it can't do it now, but in 10, 15 years' time, it may do.
But it could come up with a plot, and it could do character design, or at least inspiration for the character design.
Well, he was saying the before they would have to get the programmers would probably get an artist and go like, we just need some visuals for this, but they can kind of do that themselves now, so they've got an idea for
Or
it.
they can do the inspiration and then give it to the artist to refine it and say, well, we want this sort of thing, but green instead, and can you put pointy ears on this character?
Yeah, and also do give it your own sort of artistic flair. The point he made was, right now, it can't, but in 15, 20 years it possibly could do. But would we be interested in that sort of thing in 15 or 20 years? Because while that'll evolve, surely our taste will evolve too.
But then look at short form content and kids looking through TikTok and haven't got any concentration span. Will there be, and not having been born after the internet came along and after YouTube came along and not knowing any different?
Yes.
Will the younger generation just end up living with not knowing any different?
No, well, they won't do. They live in a digital world. Mark and I have this conversation all the time. You're very similar age. We remember an analog time, but we were young enough to adapt to technology and use it. And I think that's a very privileged position. But absolutely right. I've got nephews who would happily just sit in a tablet and scroll through, 30-second clips all afternoon. As a content creator who makes long form content, is that something you have to consider?
I've never had much luck with short form. TikTok, but they hardly do any views. YouTube Shorts, always abysmal. Sometimes Instagram Reels do okay, but you don't get any money for them. So like if I cut down a video normally subscribers have already seen it because I do a cut down. So for me, I've got to reach people that have never seen that video. So I'll do a cut down on Instagram Reels. Bull Bike, I think I had 2 videos I put out and they had like 2 and 5 million views on Instagram. The rest are like tens of thousands. Then my friend Matt Denton, who's another YouTuber, came up. We had a night out with some beers, and then we came back to my house and he's messing around in the kitchen on the Bull Bike. We're trying to find out there's a static electricity issue that caused those glitches. After the beers. Yeah, so he's just sitting on it going, oh, what is that? Riding it round. He's just like, I'll film this and I'll put it on my shorts, whatever. Yeah. Just filmed it on his phone. We're just talking. It has 60 million views. People commenting, why haven't you done a proper testing video? It's like, why are you watching this? So it's, again,
you don't know what resonates.
Fluky.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think the casual videos can do well. Another one was on the stage at Maker Central with the screw bike. Someone filming in the audience with all the heads in the way. That's done really well as well.
Yeah. It must be frustrating, but also joyous at the same time. People still use it at the end of the day. But even if you've worked on something that's taken you weeks or even years to do, and then something so small gets 60 million views.
Yeah. It wasn't even planned, or the edited videos did like 10 times worse. So,
James, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast.
No worries, thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Hi, I'm Neil. I'm the host of Another Bright Spark podcast. It's hosted by Ignys. Who are Ignys, you're probably asking? Well, Ignys are an electronics design agency. We're based here in Nottingham. We have a bunch of really talented hardware engineers and an equally bunch of talented software engineers. We speak to a lot of interesting people in the technology space. We have business leaders, business coaches, engineers, YouTubers, electronics experts. We thought it'd be a really good idea to leverage their expertise and to give you something a bit back. We've got some really great guests coming up, so make sure you subscribe, click your notifications on, do all that good stuff. Don't want to miss it. Hope to see you there.
And it said, just want to ask your advice about something. I said, go on, what was it? He said, got this opportunity that somebody's offered our band a recording contract. Honestly, Matt, if you've got the opportunity of doing it, brilliant. And they went on to become OMD, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark.
The fact that we want that physical object, and we still go through the process of putting it in, needle on the thing, and scratchy sound, but we still get to enjoy that. There is something fundamentally tactile.
I'll read one comment, or one will just come up on the app, and it'll be, it just sort of sticky, because it's real criticism. That's the thing, and as a content creator or YouTuber, it can't be anything but personal.
The bias issue is the one that worries me probably most. Hallucinating. I'm not technical enough to know if that can be addressed, but the bias issue does worry me, because at the end of the day, how are you going to remove that from from AI.
We used to say it would be 3 to 4% of a graduating class at university might think about doing entrepreneurship, and only half of them, if that, would try. Now you've got 25, 30% of a class thinking about it.
£100,000 of
Yeah.
Michael Sheen's own money, so
Yeah.
he wasn't paid for filming. He essentially footed the bill for the whole project, made
Right.
it all possible. And he bought on the secondary debt market £1 million of consumer credit and then wiped it off. So that was, we started off calling it kind of the debt heist. That was sort of an early working title.
And what you end up is a battle of the bots. You've got them using AI to try to do something, and me saying to my AI. So suddenly we've now got bot wars, AI bot wars.
Hosted by Craig Charles.
Exactly.
We have some great guests with some amazing stories coming up. You don't want to miss out. If you've got an idea of a guest for us, let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, make sure you're subscribed. You really don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching.